My name is Arturo Serrano, and this is what I have for this sprint. So the wave manager, it has a structure called wave settings, which has a variables for all the different settings for all the critters. For like for the centipede, it has the length, the speed. For the flea, whether it's active or not in the wave. Also for the scorpion, the spider, and their frequency they appear, and also the mushroom trigger value for the flea and the speed for the spider. As you can see, it's a singleton, the wave manager, and the two most useful functions are parse file and initialize wave, and I also have an array of the wave settings. And for the parse file function, I have an enum which turns all the strings, I mean the words that it's written from the file, and then turn it into an enum. That way I can read it better in a switch and then just store the values accordingly. And for each of the cases or enums, I have an assertion which asserts the values in a range that makes sense for each of the settings. Like for the wave, it's going to be a range between 0 and 1000. Like for the head, whether the flea is active or not, it's just going to assert whether the string is a yes or a no, capital. So this is how my file looks like. So even if the data is scrambled like on wave 4, it's going to be, it's going to able to read it since it has the correct labels. So if you mess up also with some of the labels, it's just going to throw an assertion. And this is how the file looks like. So right now I have 6 waves. So even if it's scrambled, it's going to be able to read it. So that's nice to have. And then the wave manager does not do anything with those values. It's going to relay that information into the creator manager. Whenever I initialize the wave, I'm going to be calling the creator manager and then just going to load the wave settings, and I'll be passing just the number of wave that I am interested in, and then it's just going to load all those settings to spawn all the different critters like the whole centipede, the spider, the scorpion, and the flea. So for the player manager, I have a structure called player profile, which has the number of lives for the player number, the current wave, the score, a pointer to the blaster, and a pointer to a grid. And it's a singleton. And I have an array of size tree of the player profiles, one for the one player, a second player, and also for the AI. And I also have an enum called mode for one player, two player, the attractor mode. And I have a function called check player life. So this will be called each time a blaster dies. And what it will do is just going to have a switch if that is going to test the current mode and then just act accordingly. If it's one player, it's going to do check the lives, and then it's just going to regenerate the mushrooms. And if you're and the two players going to swap, and for the regenerate mushroom is going to call the mushroom grid. Then it's just going to iterate, searching for the mushroom damage, and it's just going to play an animation on each one. And for the mushroom, it's going to create an explosion. Then just going to send the command, the score command, into the score manager. This one is partial mushroom. And for the player manager, the function to create a player is going to take an input controller and then just going to store it into the blaster, which is going to call the factory, and then just pass in the input. And it's going to also initialize the profiles. So that's basically the player manager. So this is how the game looks like. So it has the commands for the score. So just two commands for the two mushroom, then for the spider, then for the centipede, for the body, for the head, 100 points. And I also, if I die, I'm going to change into the second player. There's still a couple bugs, so bear with me. And now I'm the second player, and then I'm just going to do a few more score commands. And we're just going to get changed to the player 1. And going to stop here to analyze. So from the output, I have a new blaster, and then it's going to launch the wave number 0 for that particular player. So I killed 2 mushrooms, the spider, 2 body segments, a head and another spider. Then I got hit and changed to player number 2. Then for the player number 2, the stats are 3 lives. Current wave is going to be 0 and the score 0. And then it's going to launch the wave 0 for the player number 2. And also this many command score when I was on player 2, and then I got hit, changed back to player 1, so the player 1 now has 2 lives left. It's the current wave is going to be 0 still, and its score is 722. And that's where I stopped the game. I didn't hit escape, so it didn't output the memory, but I don't have memory leaks. So some of the things that are on my to-do list are the poison mushroom. I mean the poison state for the centipede, and also I have a couple bugs on the splitting centipede. So those are on my to-do list, and of course the flight weight system. And I think that's it for this week.